All right, today I'm going to go over something that's kind of like taboo in the strength world, which is cardio. I can already feel the powerlifters clicking X on this video, or the powerlifters running to the door don't want to hear this shit, but you guys should stay here and hear this. It could benefit you in a lot of ways. So is cardio good or bad for strength training? My answer is that it's a complicated question. So I have a complicated answer for you. So I have two questions that I ask. How much cardio are you doing? And then what kind of cardio are you doing? Are you doing 15 minutes of cardio, 30 minutes of cardio, 45 minutes of cardio, or even an hour? Or are you doing steady state cardio or HIIT cardio? The two kind of cardios that people, that's their go-tos in terms of whatever they want to do with their goals, right? So that matters. So I can't give a specific answer to somebody if I don't know their exact regimen and their eating and also like that, because that's all something that you give for someone that has a set amount of calories. So if they're in a calorie deficit, then I'm going to give them a certain amount of cardio so that it's going to put them over a little bit on their energy expenditure, so they're actually burning fat. And then so there's a very gray area of what I can answer in this on cardio, because I get this question a lot, and it has a very bad outlook in terms of in the strength world, because all I hear is that cardio diminishes gains, that it makes you weak, that it kills your strength gains. That's right if you do it too much, or if you do it in a way that is not actually benefiting what you're trying to accomplish in terms of like however you're eating or whatever. If you're eating enough, and cardio could be very, very beneficial for you in every aspect of your life and in training. So let's talk about the two types of cardio. So there's steady state. So that's basically just taking the intensity at the same intensity for a duration of period of time just to burn energy. So I'm just wanting to burn calories. So if like, say I want to walk on a treadmill on an incline for 30 minutes at the same level. So that's whatever, level 4, and I'm just going to ride it out for 30 minutes. I'm going to burn X amount of calories. My heart rate will go up a little bit, but it won't go up too much. There will be a slight bit of fatigue, but there won't be as much fatigue as if they were in high intensity interval training. So high intensity interval training is a ratio between rest and like intensity. So if I'm going to sprint for 30 seconds, I'm going to rest for 30 seconds. That's a 1-to-1 ratio. That's the normal ratio that people use when they do high intensity interval training. But you could change it to be anything. So you can go a 15-second sprint to 45 seconds rest. So it's a 1-to-3 ratio in terms of I'm running or I'm sprinting for 3/4 of what I'm resting for. Or you can do vice versa, whatever you're training specifically for. If I were to pick one, steady state or high intensity, oh, that's a brain twister. High intensity interval training, I'm gonna pick HIIT every single time. So let's go over the kind of different areas that each one of those covers. Steady state is very one-dimensional. So I'm not gonna get my heart rate up. So then I'm not gonna have the beneficial things that maybe HIIT will have. It will have some benefits because doing something is better than doing nothing all the time. So that I want to put that out there. If you're doing any type of cardio, then you're gonna be better off regardless in your health. That's what's most important, is your health. Being able to live a functioning life. That's more important to me than anything else now. It might not have been like 10, 15 years ago, but right now, when I see a hindsight, bigger picture of what life's supposed to be like, and you can still train hard as shit and have a good outside life, I think it's important that you take care of yourself, that you can go and do those things outside in life with a lot of energy. I'll give like a little example on me. I never used to do cardio because I looked at it like that too. I was gonna diminish my games, whatever. But then I felt over the years, one, I'm putting on excess weight that that I don't even need. It might help with a couple of leverage things, but like just because my chest is maybe a little bit bigger because I have muscle and fat, or I have my belly's a little bit bigger, I have a power belly, whatever, I can bench a little more because the range of motion has calmed down a little bit. But the amount of fatigue I felt and the amount of brain fog I felt wasn't worth the leverages I was getting from not taking care of myself that way. And I've always been pretty good with my eating. I'm always I know nutrition. I have a background in nutrition too, so I know somewhat on the line of where I should be all the time in terms of my macros, and I don't even count them. I just know by just like looking at them. But the one thing I never did was cardio because of that stigma of you're gonna lose all your gains, you're gonna get skinny, you're gonna get skinny fat, whatever. But it couldn't be further from the point. It's all grand scheme of things. What bigger picture? Your body understands things on how much energy you're burning and how you're burning it, opposed to what you're bringing in. So if I'm eating a huge calorie surplus to opposed to me eating a calorie deficit. My body's gonna react. And then so when you're burning a lot of energy, so if you're adding cardio and you're adding all these things, and then you're not supplementing with more food and more energy to close that gap, then that's when you start having those problems of I'm starting to lose a lot more muscle instead of fat. I'm getting skinny fat. I'm looking like my muscles are melting, and it's because your body will burn your muscle before it burns fat. That's just a little science thing. It always burns muscle before fat because muscle has less calories per like gram or pound than fat does. All right, so it's more calorie dense for fat, so it's going to hold on to fat if it thinks that I'm burning way too much energy, I'm not bringing enough in. So if you're going to start doing cardio, I would ask you, is your regimen at home in your kitchen sound? Because there's no use of doing all this shit if you're not, have a conscious eye on what you're putting in your mouth. You have to understand that that's important. And I didn't for a long time. I used to eat super dirty. I would bulk. I would be eating like how almost how CT Fletcher eat 5-6 hamburgers a day. I wanted to be strong, so I ate like that. I did get strong, but my health declined at a super high rate. Not until I created a baseline of cardiovascular activity did I realize that it's not detrimental to you if you do it responsibly in a way that it's planned, so that you don't have to overwork and you're not creating such a huge surplus or deficits that you can't play catch up with yourself because now you're in starvation mode. All right, so I'm going to give you a little tip right now. You have to create a cardiovascular baseline for yourself. And what does that mean? This means that every day that I have a minimal amount of activity that I will do, and your body will start remembering that's the baseline. It has to be consistent. So if you go to the gym, every time you go to the gym, you do 15 minutes walking, something simple like that. That's creating a cardiovascular baseline. Now your body's understanding that that's the energy it's burning, so it won't be tricked into like feeling like it needs to burn more or like burn off the like certain things that it doesn't want to burn off right away. So when you create that baseline, now anything you add to that will be beneficial to you. So if I'm doing just a quick warm up, so I just call it a warm up because it's not that important to me, but it's important at the same time because I know I have to do it to create that baseline. So I do a 15-minute stepper. I'll just do something quick on a very low setting. So that's steady state right there. I'm burning around maybe 150 calories during that session. But that's a steady state. So that now I'm actually warmed up for my actual lifting. So that's why I actually like to do it too, because I call it my warm up. But it is steady state cardio. I would never start my workouts with 30 to 45 minutes to an hour worth of cardio. You're just pulling glycogen out of your muscles and your blood, and then you're burning that. And then so when you go to lift weights, you're to be not metabolic for as amount of time as you would have if you just didn't do cardio before. All right, so if you just create a small baseline for yourself at the beginning, then you can add HIIT training in at the end of your lifts, and that will be super beneficial for you. So the big beneficial things of adding a slight bit of cardio to your training regimen, it's going to increase the quality of your actual sessions. So I noticed, and I know I've coached thousands of people, and when I add a little bit of cardio, the session itself, there's more energy. I don't have to take as big a rest times because I'm not gasping for air off of things that usually aren't a lot of work for me, so that I'm just in better shape. My cardiovascular shape is better, and then that's gonna make sure that my recovery is better. When you're in better shape in terms of like my heart's healthier, I can recover 2 to 3 times faster than someone that doesn't have the cardiovascular exercise that I do or endurance that I do. So that doesn't mean go run 10, 15 miles a day. No, it's just creating a small baseline for yourself. It's going to increase your quality of your session. It's also to increase the quality of your reps and your sets during that session. You're going to have cleaner reps. You're not going to have as much fatigue during those sets. And then that turnaround time, you won't need as much time to recover. Because when I was at my biggest, I would legitimately need 15 minutes of recovery time for every set. It's because I was in such bad shape. I was strong, but I had no work capacity. So it's going to increase your work capacity. That's the most important thing too. It's going to create a bigger foundation for you to build your performance off of. And you don't want to hinder yourself at the beginning with just a small platform or foundation for yourself that you don't have anything to build off of. You have like a skinny ass building. I want a huge foundation for my building. And then so that means that I will have to have every area of my training, every aspect of it honed in on. And cardio it should be implemented in a way. But can you lose fat without doing cardio? 100%. Let me get that out the way. You can lose weight and lose body fat without touching a cardio machine. That's a huge misconception, is that I have to do cardio if I want to lose body fat or lose weight. You can literally just put yourself in a calorie deficit and then just train weights, or you could literally be in a calorie deficit and not work out and lose weight, but you'll have to be on your diet pretty tough though. So the big benefit of the cardiovascular exercise is to get the endurance better for whatever performance aspects you're going for, and secondary to have maybe those body effects that you wanted, so losing body fat. But it all comes in grand scheme of things that it has to tie into where your diet is if you're looking to be more aesthetically with what you're trying to do. As a power lifter, aesthetics is probably not as important, but we all want to be monsters at the end of the day, and that's what's important to us too. So sometimes looking like a monster is the same thing as feeling like a monster to us. So we don't want to be fat or whatever. So yeah, add a little bit of cardio, but make sure you're conscious on how much cardio you're doing and what kind. Like I said, I'm a big HIIT guy. I think that it's more beneficial and efficient. I don't know if I went over the exact things behind the HIIT training, but it's going to burn more calories because you're actually engaging more muscle groups because you're slow and you're fast twitch fibers. And then when you do your high intensity interval training, you're actually creating a lactic threshold that causes you to recover. And when you recover, you're actually burning more energy while you're recovering from high intensity interval training. With cardiovascular training, you don't actually reach that point. You don't reach a lactic threshold, so you're actually just breathing slightly heavier than you would, and your heart rate goes up a little bit, but then the turnaround for your recovery is very low because you're not doing much. You're just kind of just like very low intensity things. When you're at a high intensity, now it takes me more time to recover, and that turnaround's a lot longer. And in that turnaround time that I'm trying to catch my breath, that's actually when I'm burning more calories. So I might burn X amount of calories for 15 minutes during a high intensity interval training session, but then there's another little category that I'm burning more calories just trying to get my body back to neutral, my resting metabolic state, or my resting VO2 max, or my resting VO2. So that during that time, there's like that little gray area that I'm trying to recover, and that I'm burning more calories. So that's why it's more beneficial to do high intensity interval training, because you're actually going to burn more calories doing it, not only just from the session, but when you're recovering from that session. Just like if you're lifting weights, you're actually lifting weights and you're burning energy while you're doing it. But when you go home and you're sore, so when you have muscle onset soreness, or you just have regular muscle soreness, tightness, that you're actually burning energy trying to recover your body. So that's why it's also important to have every aspect of what your training is to be on point. Your recovery, your eating, your fueling, and then your training. So another aspect now is your cardio. So I hope this helps out a little bit. If you leave this video with anything, cardio, the right type of cardio, the right amount of cardio will help with the energy in the gym, the quality of your sessions, the quality of your reps, and it's going to help you with the quality of your life. Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. I started doing cardio and actually helped me change my habits in my regular life of being maybe procrastinating certain things or being a little bit lazier than I thought I should be at the time. But it's going to help you enjoy your life a little bit better. You're going to want to do things more outside and have more energy to do things at work, whatever. I think that's more beneficial than anything else. But it's important for us to be strong and be successful in our sports or whatever. But I think that if we can have a gray area between us lifting a lot and being successful doing that, but then not being a detriment to our life outside our regular life. So I want to have a good quality of life outside of the gym, and then having a good training sessions and being strong and being fit or whatever my goals may be at the time. So cardio can be good if you use it correctly, And then that's an asterisk right there. I put that on my notes, an asterisk, because it's very important that all aspects of your training have to be in tune with what you're doing with your cardio. I hope this helps. I kind of was a little bit wish-washy on what I was saying on this one, because this is just kind of a subject that there's no set answer. So I don't want to give the wrong answer, because it's very important to me, and I don't want to lead anyone down the wrong road. But the two questions, like I said at the beginning, how much cardio are you doing? And then what kind of cardio are you doing? Ask yourself that, and then maybe you can listen to what I said after that to maybe construct what you think is the proper cardio regimen for you.